Welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. I nearly said the Arsenal show. Welcome to the Transfer Exchange Show. We are live. I'm joined by Garth Lewis and Steve K. How you doing, boys?
Good evening, everybody. Yep, all good, mate. Good, thank you.
An FA Cup weekend. The dreams for some. Liverpool, Arnie Slots gonna win the lot, they said.
That's not true.
No, because they've been knocked out by bottom of the league, Plymouth Argyle.
Well, that's embarrassing.
Yes, it certainly is. It certainly is. There's a rude awakening for Ruud van Nistelrooy as he revisited his old club, Manchester United, and then they end up knocking him out with a controversial goal. But Man United fans don't care. They just need the wins. They need the wins. Manchester United left it late on to beat Leyton Orient in the FA Cup. Come on. At least a nod of approval. Oh, my God. Look of disgust.
It's because you did Man United, mate. That's why. I'm like, wait till you mean Man City.
I said, did I? Let's try again.
Yes.
Manchester City left it late on. Manchester City left it late on.
Oh, late on. Oh, mate. Yeah, got that.
Oh, Steve. Oh, sorry. Steve's tired tonight, people.
Yeah, I got it, mate. I got it. I missed it. Missed that one. Way over. Yeah, that one did.
He's kidding, right?
The start's been shambolic, people. We're late. The jokes ain't working. We're getting our lines wrong.
I'll tell you what.
Start again.
I was thinking of that one on the way downstairs, and it was pretty good. But to not nail that first line and get the team wrong, mindful. The comical time was poor. And of course, we're going to be talking about Arsenal preparing in Dubai to win the league. And yeah, there's no joke there. That's just serious.
If you listen to the league judges, mate, it's a disgrace. They'll have holiday. You got knocked out of the League Cup. They should be in the FA Cup. It's a disgrace that they're on holiday. He's talking about ripping up his season ticket early, the mug. I don't know if you've seen. If you've seen that one, have you? Yes.
League judges.
Yeah, league judges. Yeah. The old bald fella from OTV.
What's your
Not just when they're on holiday. How dare they be on holiday? Having a break in Dubai. I'd love a break in Dubai myself. They should be at home training.
It should be at home training.
It works, doesn't it?
Did he forget what happened last year when they went to Dubai or something?
Oh yeah, honestly, his neck vein. I was worried about a stroke for the fella, bruv, at one point, because that neck vein was like pulsating. What was that old cartoon with the fella with the vein in it? That's about popping. So it's just Eric. That's a deep cut for you young'uns. Go and look at it on YouTube.
Yeah. Oh, Robbie's rubbing his hands together with the money.
Mate, don't worry. I've seen a few of them pop.
Doing this. Robbie's guy, yeah.
We'll discuss that in tomorrow's show.
Yeah.
A video coming for that one. That was Monday morning meltdowns is what I call it, and it's like clockwork with a few Arsenal fans. They've had the weekend to mull over nothing. Comes to Monday, and it's just a load of miserable podcasts with people just like over exaggerating stuff. Apparently,
can I have a quick? Oh, so go on.
Go on. I was going to say, well, apparently, Laurie had loads of people come up to him and say that if Arteta doesn't win anything this season, he needs to go. And then he said it wasn't just a few; it was like more than a few. So it started off at loads, and then it was a few. I just wonder how many people are bombarding Laurie as he's doing his shopping on a daily basis to tell him that Arteta should get the sack at the end of the season. It just all seems a bit convenient to me.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, what does he think he is, like a superstar or something? Like people don't stop him in the streets.
I can't imagine people.
Is that what football's coming to there? That like these are stars
going up to Robbie or Laurie and just to tell him that at the end of the season they think that Arteta should get the sack if he doesn't win the league. I just think you may have had one or two people come up to you across a week, but it certainly wasn't loads. Like I'll tell you to get 100 Arsenal fans in the room and ask how many of them think that, and I certainly tell you it wouldn't be a load.
Do you know what I'd love them to do? I wish it was like they could do an April Fool, and like for us to announce that Mikel Arteta's left, due to foreseen circumstances from some podcast or something. The pressure's been put on him too much. I mean, and he's walked or something like that. Because
We'd probably cheer, wouldn't we?
Yeah, I was going to say, Steve, exactly. I was about to say, you'll find a lot of them being like, "I told you, I'll tell you." But can I have a Monday evening meltdown? I'm done with this woke nonsense. FA Cup draw on the one show, disgusting.
Was it?
Game on Sunday.
Oh, here we go. Give him the soapbox. He needs this because I'm not having this. Lefty woke nonsense. Ram it down our throats.
No, that's it. That's it. I don't need the full screen anymore. I don't need the hard camera. Yeah, I don't need the hard camera anymore. But yeah, disgusting. I don't want that. I want to see it on the Sunday after the game, not the one. I don't have to want to watch the one show. You know what I mean? Shocking.
They're forcing it. Look, we want to see at the end. We want to see a retired footballer that no one knows or half the people know, and you have to ask how good he was. That's what we want. So that's how we learn our history. Let's get on to the weekend's matches. It started off on Friday. Garth, Manchester United versus Leicester City. A late controversial goal. No VAR, which is quite surprising in the FA Cup, considering both teams have got access to VAR. But there is no VAR. There are the rules. Man United got the win. Ruud van Nistelrooy not too happy because the late goal from Harry Maguire was offside. He said
blatantly offside.
Yards offside, he said.
Well, mate, that lino had the same fault I'd made. Was like, please, not another half hour of this. For the love of God, can't do another half hour of this. No, it's a goal, mate. That stands. Let's go home because that was dire. But yeah, I'll be fuming if I was a Leicester fan. And I think, again, I have to say, if it's two Premier League teams, I get their reasoning. I don't get it. Let me rephrase. I understand what they're trying to say, their reasoning, which is like, even if it's two Premier League teams, it needs to be a level playing field for everyone. For me, load of nonsense. We've got VAR for a reason. If it's two Premier League teams, Premier League is it in the Championship yet, VAR?
No.
All right. So if it's two Premier League teams, you have VAR because Leicester deserved more than what they got out of that game. I don't know if they deserve to win, in all honesty. By the end of that game, Man United were fully in the ascendancy. First half, mate. I think I messaged you, didn't I, about it? That first half was some of the worst football I've seen. I keep coming back and saying that. Week on week, it's the worst football I've seen, but it really was. It was terrible. Poor selection choices from Amorim again, not picking his best team. But I think here, you said the great, like, it opened my eyes a bit of what you're saying, is that he's got almost like as long as we don't get relegated, which we more than likely won't, he's got a free throw for this half of the season where he can test things, see who can work in his system, see who can do what. See who can play in different positions and not really worry about winning games so much. So after you said that, I sort of understand it. But yeah, that first half, nothing to report apart from we were diabolical. Leicester fully deserved the lead. I've seen people try and blame Onana for the goal, but I don't see it personally. Like, he saves the first shot. He's on his backside. It'd be very hard. Like, yeah, listen, if he gets up and saves it, it's fantastic reflexes. But yeah, but then in the second half, Garnacho comes on. Zertsky comes on, and we just had more attacking threat. Garnacho especially, and you know what? If you've watched this show enough, you know what I think of Garnacho. I'm not saying he's bad, but I don't think he's anything super special. But that was a performance that would suggest he's worth 70 mil. Like, if he can continually do that, like if he can actually consistently do that, it really took the game under the scruff of the neck. Some of the touches out of the sky, and really gave us attacking impetus. And then, yeah, by the end of the game, we were deserved winners, but Leicester didn't deserve to go out like that because, I mean, honestly, that is a cut. That's real bad lino. That's an astonishing mistake for a seasoned linesman to get wrong. Like, and it's on his side as well. He's got direct line of vision of it. Like, the only thing I can think he's thinking is that there's a man in front of Harry Maguire that he can't see. But yeah, really poor from the officials. But another game where Man United weren't spectacular, mate. And it's becoming a habit against these teams that aren't very good at the moment. You know, Leicester, some of their stats are horrific, and we should be putting these teams to bed. But it's coming. Dorgu looked good. Brought him off at half-time. Weird. But yeah, it's slowly coming together a little bit. But we're just in for a long, as I keep saying, long, hard, like, boring. That's the biggest problem with it. It's boring, mate. The football's just atrocious to watch. So, let alone the results. But yeah, listen, happy to be through because I said to you, the FA Cup realistically is our best chance of getting into Europe next season. So,
and it alleviates a little bit of pressure. Look, it might not be a league win, but it's a win. It keeps people quiet for another few days, and it's when you keep compounding those losses with non-wins basically. When you get a draw and it's not a great draw, and then you get a loss again, it's just another few days. We just got that pressure cooker building. It just sort of takes it off of that.
Especially after the Palace defeat as well, you know what I mean? And like listen, a lot of the big boys, as you say, are out now. You're out, Liverpool are out, Chelsea are out. So it's Newcastle, Villa, and us. I would say that the key teams for it. And we've got Fulham in the next round at home, which historically, I mean, I don't think they've beaten us for like 18 years or something there. So I think it's like Lewis Bowen-Morte was the last person to score a winner there. So hopefully,
you don't need stats like that. You don't need stats, and especially names. That'll be the day when Lewis Bowen-Morte's birthday comes down to visit. Like, you just don't need those stats. So, Steve, United get through with a controversial goal. What's your take on VAR not being in the FA Cup in these rounds, when there's two Premier League clubs, or even if there's a Premier League club that has the access for VAR and they can use it against some of the lower league teams?
Yeah, I don't know why they don't use it. It's not as like you know, football's, you know, the officiating, the technology is something that's set in stone, and we use the same thing like in every ground. You know, we're seeing you know, referees now talking in B Cup ties. You know, it's a bit so it's nothing that's sort of like, oh, these are the rules, this is the way it is. So if that's the situation, I don't see why they can't have VAR if it's there to use. You know, so yeah, I mean, it's there. They want to use it. You know what I think of it. But look, if it's something there and it can, you know, benefit in some way, like it would have done Leicester, you know, on against Manchester United, then yeah, I can see how Leicester fans will probably be, you know, a little bit annoyed by it. But you know, on the same breath, you know, if the shoes were on the other foot, then you know, nobody was to be saying nothing. So, but yeah, but all this time while they're chopping and changing, I don't see why if it's there and it's available and it's two Premier League teams or one Premier League team and you can use it. Well, they don't. It don't really make a lot of sense. I don't know what their reasoning for not using it is. You know, I'd like to know what that is.
So it's a fair playing field for everyone. That's what they're saying. They're saying that, say, if Chesterfield played Darlington, there's no VAR in that game, so it wouldn't be fair for there to be VAR in the Premier Team games. It's a nonsense excuse, Steve. It really is. But that's their reasoning, is that they want everyone to have an equal playing field.
But I suppose at the end of the day, if like it's still, there's two teams on a football pitch and you've still got the same thing, haven't you?
Yeah.
Whether if Darlington are playing whoever. And there's no there's the Ireland and Crystal Palace, and there's no VR, and it's over there. And what is the difference? Because at the end of the day, it's just you're still two teams, and you've got the same. Yeah. Whether there's a VAR or not,
each individual game is on the level playing field, exactly. But 100%. The reason is nonsense, mate. It's absolute nonsense.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah,
but no, as I say, Man United through, so yeah, so good luck to them.
Yeah, they are through. This is the important thing. Manchester City almost had some cup drama when Jamie Donnelly hit an absolute wonder strike for it to come off the crossbar and come off Stefan Ortega's cheeks, for it to go down as the own OG. It's just, yeah, look, I know it wasn't going in. Yeah, like it was, but it wasn't. But like, it was such a good shot. So well executed, hit sweetly, see him off his line. He's done him completely. And it was just like, yeah, as soon as you see the replays and it looks like it's actually coming out a goal and then hits him and goes in, you knew it's an own goal. But what a strike there. What a moment for Jamie Donnelly. Nearly causing an upset. Leighton Orient played really well as well, didn't they?
Yeah, go to Man City. They really did. Listen, if it was normal Man City, you'd say they were taking it lightly, but listen, Steve called it a while ago that they're not the same team. They're just not the same team. There's no fear around them, and their play, like Jack Grealish didn't look. To be fair, he had moments, but you can't just dust Jack Grealish off after a year or however long it's been since we last seen him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's him to do Jack Grealish things. They'd bring the big boys on in the end, didn't they? Foden come off the bench, I think. De Bruyne come off the bench, like to win them the game. And in the end, they're class on through. But Leyton Orient, I mean, are they League One? League Orient now? Or they're not Championship?
League One. And they're in good format.
Yeah. But fair play to them. You know what I mean? And on the whole, that first half, if the game ended at 45 minutes, I'd say they probably deserved to win that game. Yeah, and listen, they weren't cowered by the might of Man City. It's the magic of the FA Cup, innit? This is why you got to love the FA Cup, man. This is what sometimes it does really show you that, because this is what I saw. Was it the Newcastle game? Like you have to bring the big boys on and win, because the smaller teams, they'll match you for energy, they'll match you for physicality, and then it all comes down to those minute, those 1%. Like you've got a better touch, you've got a bit of vision, you've got a bit more creativity, and if you're not on form on the day, you can have a big upset go against you, a big upset.
Spot on, because it is. Look, you can't forget, these are professional footballers, and some of these footballers either started off at the big clubs. Jamie Donnelly's he's either on loan from Tottenham, or he's been sold.
I think their goalkeeper was on loan as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, so these players can play at a level, and on their best day, they can hit those levels of what a Premier League footballer can do. Yeah, but it's about consistency when you're talking about. It's about, of those 100 passes, 100 going to go to the feet at a lovely, with a nicer pass appreciation. That's the levels you're talking about between Premier League and League One. So as Garth said, if the League One team put everything in, have one of those days where every pass is perfect, they're challenging, they're honest, they're chasing down everything, and they've got that stamina, it's only going to be until the latter stages of the game where they start to get a bit tired, where you'll start to see those mistakes coming. And that's exactly what happened with Leyton Orient in the end. You started, because it went from like the 60th minute where you were seeing some really good tackles coming in, some great blocks, and it got to like the 70th minute you were seeing them get through again, and again you was like, it's only going to be a matter of time. Yeah. And it was only
shout out to the Orient goalkeeper as well. He's on loan from Spurs, apparently, Keeley, and he pulled out a couple of very nice saves, kept Leyton Orient in it as well. But yeah, it was a great FA Cup game. That's what I say about it. That's one in ones that was like back in the day, I'd be like, I'm not watching that, you know. You'd miss a great game, and it was a very good game of football. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can't pronounce his name. Is it Darling Jay Samia, something like that? He was another one who was just rocking in challenges, and he was one of their forward players as well. Very, very, very good game for them. Steve, almost a big upset for Man City, and adding to that, these problems that they're in, and even though it wasn't a win, it still adds a little bit of pressure on City because they're struggling against a League One team.
Yeah, I mean, it's you do get this though. I mean, I can go. You can go back to the 80s, and when Arsenal got beat by York and Wrexham, and you can just go, and it just goes through time every single year. You know, I'm sure Garth will remember Man United getting knocked out by some team that ridiculously
York 3-0, mate. Yeah,
York and
0-0 Old Trafford. Yeah, so definitely.
These big teams know this. Do you know what I mean? They must know that, you know, if they're not on it, they know that these teams in the lower leagues will put up a fight. And and Man City nearly come unstuck. Like Garth said, they had to bring the big boys on in the end to. I mean, if they would have got knocked out and gone into like tomorrow's game against Real Madrid, I mean, that's not a good way to go into it. No. But as I said, they come in the end, and in the end they got over the line. So, but yeah, look, big teams have to be careful in this when you're playing these FA Cup games. Mm-hmm. And I've said it for a long while now, but they never learn because the big teams have consistently over the years, not all the time, but most of the time, they'll rest this player and drop that player and rest this player, and most of the time they'll get over the line. Sometimes you'll come unstuck, and when you're in a sort of place where Man City are, you don't need to have to bring on the big boys. You don't need to have to run around like nutcases for the next 10, 20 last 25, 30 minutes, to get over the line against Orient. You should be, I'd do it the other way if that was me. Do you know what I mean? To get the game over early, 3-4-0, and then take them all off or something. Not sort of having to go full whack out. When you got a big game against Real Madrid on the Tuesday, but they did. But to say nothing, City seems to be doing right. Not saying that they'll probably go and beat Real Madrid tomorrow. What wouldn't surprise me. But look, but good, great day out for Orient. A club, not far from me. Do you know what I mean? So I know quite a few Orient fans, and great day out for them. Yeah, it's been great for them to get over the line. But they can be proud of their performances.
Yeah, definitely. Look, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. Look, if you've got a cup draw in any cup against a real low team, it's an opportunity to, as Garth said earlier, dust off some of the players who aren't getting minutes to prove a point, just to get those games. It's a competitive match as well. Give a youngster an opportunity, and you'll find most teams will try and have a happy balance of that. If you look at Man City's team, Ortega was good enough to help Man City win the league last season in the final stretches of the season. He's good. He's a good goalkeeper. Rico Lewis is England international now, although young. He's played Diaz, Portuguese international. These are the two youngsters. They've had Nunes at centre back as a midfielder. O'Reilly, youngster. Gonzalez, new signing, looked like he got injured as well. Gundogan. Jason McAtee, or Johnny McAtee, is it? He's another one, youngster, up and coming. Savio, he's a first team player now. Grealish, England international, and Mamouche, new signing. So that, you look at that, that's enough to beat Leyton Orient.
Oh, more than enough, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And we'll get on to Liverpool as well. But it is you want to give those players an opportunity to play. And imagine rocking up with Haaland, De Bruyne against Leyton Orient away from home 3 days before you've got a match against Real Madrid. People aren't going to be happy because you've got to play them for at least 45, 60 minutes. So yeah, it's one of those ones. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Look, they got the result in the end, and that's all important. A team that didn't get the result is this man here, the man of the moment, Arne Slot. His team, Liverpool, lost to bottom of the league, Plymouth Argyle. I shouldn't be enjoying it as much as I am, but I am, and I'm gonna milk it for all it is. This is another team that played excellently against the Liverpool side, who were trying, and even bringing on the big boys wasn't enough for Liverpool as they lost 1-0. There wasn't much of a giant killing. It didn't feel like there was going to be one in this round, and then Plymouth came along, and they gave the people what they wanted. A real fairy tale story. A team that's sitting bottom of the league, a team that's struggling, just got rid of their manager, Wayne Rooney. This man steps in, and if you've not seen the speech,
this is quality.
Did I send you the speech, Garth?
No, I don't know. Did you do a video on it? Is that where I saw it? You haven't sent it to me or you did a video on it? Yeah.
I watched that speech, and I felt like becoming a part-time Plymouth Argyle fan. That had the boost pimples a lot. It was, oh my gosh. And if you do not want to play for that man after that speech in the position you're in, there's no point in you playing for that team, because that galvanized a lot of people. You could feel that in the room. Similarities to another speech I heard. I won't bring it up because it's not about them at the moment. But what he done, what I really liked, is he was talking about the people in the club don't really usually get a shout out, the like the kits man and things like that. And it was a big win, and they hadn't won in a while in the league. And he'd run up and went to cheer with the crowd, and he stacked it and fell on his backside and got up again and cheered with the crowd. And he said that is the essence of the club. That was honest. It wasn't contrived. It wasn't set up. It was honest in the moment. And I think it just resonated with a lot of the players. And since then, they've been getting results. 2-2 draw against Sunderland away from home. a team who are in very good form and look like they're potentially probably going to come up this season. Got a 2-1 win against West Brom. So it is a team that are starting to kick up a little bit of form as well. But I don't think they expected this one here against Liverpool. Garth, big win. And as I said, what dreams are made of in the FA Cup.
Yeah, scenes. And they've got City next now, ain't they?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. So, to be fair, I saw it on Twitter, so I don't know. I think they've got Man City next. So I'm hoping that's a what is it, Home Park, their grounds. I'm hoping it's there. Such a weird name for a ground, Home Park. But anyway, I'm hoping it's there for them. Listen, again, it's the FA Cup. This is the domestic FA Cup. I've seen Liverpool fans trying to defend, our team. I'm guessing you're going to talk about that in a minute, Keir, so I'm sorry to steal your thunder. But
that's right, no, segue, mate.
Yeah, that team, it has to be beating Plymouth. I don't care what anyone says. Like, their front line, it was Diaz, Jota, and Chiesa.
Exactly.
Like, come on. I know they're playing McConnell at right back, all right, but that's it. And was it Onyi? I can't
remember. Harvey Elliott.
Yeah.
Tsimikas, Gomez, Konza, like they've got two players that you wouldn't recognise.
Yeah, they've got two players. That's it. Like their goalkeeper is well good. Everyone knows that he's an up and like people are talking about him being a number one in different teams. Say that. Listen, I think someone on the BBC said it quite right. I think Plymouth would have taken a bit of heart seeing that team sheet for a start and being like, "You're disrespecting us." Nah, come on now. You're actually disrespecting and gone for it. Like these players are good enough. They're not going to be wrong. But when you leave out your best players, you're showing a bit of disrespect there. I get it. It's Plymouth, bottom of the championship. But yeah, listen, I'm not having that team was so weak. I'll give you a little bit. I'll give it a little bit. Yeah, it may have given Plymouth a little bit of a boost to see Virgil van Dijk, to see Salah. You know what I mean? But that team 100% should be good enough to beat Plymouth Argyle. And listen, I only saw highlights, didn't see the match. From what I saw, Plymouth gave a fantastic account of themselves, and Liverpool really didn't hit second gear towards the end. Did you see the game, Stuart? Or?
Yeah. They
so how good were they?
For it again and again, and just hitting nothing. They were hitting nothing. Plymouth defended excellently. They set up well, structured well. They were flying into every challenge, and they weren't just throwing their bodies on the line like you do see in some of these games. This was controlled. They were defending well. They've been well drilled. You can see that. Something which they weren't under Wayne Rooney. But this team they're really pulling together. It was an excellent match, and I don't think that Liverpool would have scored if they would have brought in their big boys, because it was just one of them games where they couldn't get through. They couldn't get through. Steve, what's your take on the game? Liverpool kept on banging on the door and nothing was happening.
Yeah, well, I didn't see the game. I just see a few bits of the highlights. But, yeah, again, similar to the Orient one, but just they went a little bit better, didn't they? So, yeah, look, just I mean, good luck to them. But this, we've already said it, like this is the magic of the cup. And this is why I always get a little bit annoyed with people when they say, oh, this is your year for the cup. What do you mean it ain't your year for the cup? There's about 25 teams that can win the FA Cup, on their day, and you can get knocked out by, teams like Plymouth. Who these are these players. Some of these players will never ever play a match as big as this again. Orient players will never play a match as big as this again. Do you know what I mean? They've been leading this up to it's the biggest game of their lives. That's why you see so many shocks. That's why we've been knocked out in the past with so many little clubs. And yeah, you should win the FA Cup. This is our year. I know the old arse. Do you know what I mean? It's a difficult competition to win. And not always the best team wins it. And the best teams get knocked out. And Arsenal are out, and Liverpool are out, and Chelsea are out, and Tottenham are out already.
You said best teams. You said best teams.
Say there was a joke there.
And you put Spurs in there, mate.
United and Spurs.
You know what I mean. You know what I mean. These are the teams, especially Tottenham and Chelsea, because you would have thought that Tottenham, they haven't won the cup since the last 77 years, and Chelsea,
second year.
Yeah, Chelsea, you would have thought. Do you know what I mean? They've got enough bigger squad to play anybody. They've got so many players. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but look, I mean, it's to say it's the magic of the cup. and Liverpool came unstuck. They played, which I suppose you could call their second team, but like Garth has already referred to, they still had some big players there. Some big players. They had Timikis, Greek international, Kelleher, Irish international, Gomez, England international, Chiesa, Italian international, Portugal international, Jota.
That's what I mean. That front line.
I mean, are you kidding me? Are you
For
kidding
all
me?
that they may have looked at that back line and gone, "Oi, cheeky," they've looked at that front line and clenched.
Absolutely, absolutely, and they should have won. And when I was told what the result was, I was like, I think I was a bit stunned. Really, I didn't even really react. I was like, sort of, wow, 1-0, okay, that was thing. And then you get the Liverpool fans, don't you? Then it's all turned, isn't it? On the other foot. And it wasn't that important anyway. We dropped half our team, and and all this lark. And we got Everton Wednesday, and that's a bigger game. But
bigger fish to fry.
Before them, it was we could do the quad. We can do the quad. You ain't doing. Yeah,
they still can.
No, they ain't doing
that. They can do the treble.
Can't do the treble either.
They can do the treble, Garth. They can do the treble.
They can do a treble.
They can match Manchester City and Manchester United treble glory. Still,
they can't.
Yeah, they can.
No, they can't. It's a treble.
It's trophies. It's a treble.
Bruv, you can win the St Johnstone Paint Trophy, the Under-21 Cup, and you know what I mean, and the playoff. It don't make it a treble, bruv. No. In all fairness, listen, it is a treble, but it ain't the treble, and it's still. If they do win all three, it's still banging. So I don't want anyone thinking of this, but it's not the treble. It's not the.
I mean, to be fair, if they go and win the treble, they won't care about this. They won't care about this. But I don't know. I don't know what you think.
Steve, you say that. I reckon you will. That's the thing. I think if they do, just like they do win the treble, they'll look at this as a missed opportunity because they should beat Plymouth to win the quad. I know it's saying that they're going to be saying that they've got 3 trophies anyway, but Liverpool fans are desperate to be the best and biggest club in the world, and that would make them better than anyone else.
But it just shows you though, because they had their second. I mean, they're all right. Look, they did have a lot of players out. Let's be fair, but. Yeah, I did it was quite funny with the, with the who are you without Salah? Do you know what I mean? As soon as Salah don't play, you get beat by Plymouth.
Give him what he wants. Give him what he wants. 5 years, 450 grand. Get it on the table right now.
But no, I mean, I don't know if I don't know. Look, I don't know what they are. What their thoughts are. I thought Slot. The way he come out, listening to his post-match after the game, thought he was very fair with Plymouth. I thought, please don't come out and start saying, we had this player out and we wanted to try. He come out and just said, nah,
it's a different ball.
Plymouth come out. They deserved to win the game. We lost the game, and Plymouth were brilliant, and that was that. So he probably knows deep down that if he played his full team, they'd probably wipe the floor with Plymouth, I suppose. But at the end of the day, it's good luck with them, but as I say, the quad's gone, and they've only got the treble left. But I don't even think they'll win that. This is the start of the downfall, mate.
bookmark it, but don't bring it out if it doesn't happen. Bookmark before. Tottenham added to their misery. But it was expected, to be fair, after losing to Aston Villa. Let's listen to what Tottenham manager Ange Postecoglou had to say.
I really don't know how else to explain it other than if you can't see that this team is just trying its hardest to play under the most extreme 2.5 months of asking 18-year-olds and 17-year-olds and senior players with no rest to play Thursday, Sunday. I'll keep going for 2.5 months. And if you think that is not at all a factor of how this team is performing right now, then there's nothing else I can say. There's nothing else I can explain to them. No, because they're tired, mate. They can't. Do you think they can press like they... If we hadn't played Thursday night and I had rotated that team, you think we would have been pressing a bit more aggressively today? Fair chance, unless you don't think they're human beings. Unless you're sort of superhuman, you think, no, after playing Liverpool Thursday night, they should be flying today. It doesn't happen. They're human beings.
Woe is me. Woe is me. The violins are fully out, in full effect, at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. I almost feel like there's a classical orchestra playing every time Tottenham are down there. All I seem to hear is about the injuries. These injuries that no one else has been able to mention throughout this season. Yeah, look, granted, Tottenham have had
Yeah, they've
had a lot of injuries. They are, in fact, I think, second in the list of injuries for teams that have had players for out longer than a week, and they are second in the league. But I can't buy into this notion. It's the same fan base that last season were cheering for their team not to get in the Champions League, to lose against Manchester City. They were cheering.
Never going to let that go, are you?
Never going to let it go. They cheered. And this is what you get when you cheer for your team to lose. When you cheer for your team when you cheer for mediocrity. This is what you get. You get young players being brought in. You can't do bigger contract for the older players. You're not in the Champions League, so you're not attracting those players that may potentially come to you because you're in the Champions League. People need to wake up to this notion that you're not ready for the Champions League. I don't know who fed someone that line and then they believed it. Yeah, we're not ready for the Champions League. Do you know how you get ready for the Champions League? You be in it. You be in it. You get some money. Then the following season, you got that extra little bit of money to continue the vicious cycle of moving in the Champions League and progressing to the next stages. That's how it works. So for people who say, oh, what's the point of being in the Champions League if you're not going to win it? Rubbish. For people saying, we shouldn't be in the Champions League because we're not ready for it. Rubbish. And this is what you get. And even worse, you're going to have Tottenham fans that think the better of the two evils would be to be out of Europe and be just in the Premier League. You think that's bad? You think it's bad now? Imagine trying to go through a season where you've not even got enough games to rotate your squad properly. You've not got enough games to play the youngsters because you've got to play that first team player game by game because you've only got one game a week and you're lucky if you've got a cup game. And when you do get that cup game, you think you're going to play the youngsters. No, because people that haven't had game time want games. Foolish face. Now, after that rant,
get off your chest, kid. Get it off your chest, mate.
I had anything on my chest, but yeah, it's just nonsense, and people want to talk rubbish, and I'm bored of allowing people to talk nonsense, and everyone.
Not just that. Like they need to think like Ange needs to look at himself as well. Like he wasn't forced to spend 42 million of his transfer budget on Archie Gray, an 18-year-old. He wasn't forced to spend 30 mil of his transfer budget on Wilson Odobert, a 19-year-old. He wasn't forced to spend 17 million of his budget on a 21-year-old goalkeeper. You know, he wasn't forced. Like they spent nearly 200 million over this summer and January.
Oh mate, they spent 500 mil under Ange Postecoglou. I know
Solanke's injured, and I get it. Johnson's injured. I get this, but like also you've spent poorly when you did like you can't. We were talking about this the other week. You can't have 18-year-olds as your backup. You just can't. You just, especially when it's like 9 of them, you cannot have 17, 18, 19-year-olds as your first choice backup players. Listen, I have no sympathy for him. I liked it when he came in. To be fair, my opinion of him's gone down and down and down, and now it's in the dirt. To be quite honest with you, like
why is that?
I don't know. I like the idea of him like being brash with the reporters. You know, I'm a Ferguson man at the end of the day. You know what I mean? Like, but it turned from just being brash to very much disrespectful, very disrespectful. And rude and just So listen, I got no sympathy for Spurs, to be quite honest with you. He can whinge all he wants about injuries. We all have to deal with it. It happens. I know they've been hit hard. I get it, but why haven't you got the reserves in your team, mate? Like, and I'll always come back to this. Like, Man United got hit hard last year. No one gave it as an excuse for Ten Hag's poor performance. We had no backline all season. You know, I tried to use it as an excuse, and it wasn't. So no one else is getting it from me either. So yeah. And they're just not performing. I don't think his tactics are good enough at the end of the day. They don't seem to be because they're below Man United, and that means you are playing poorly. If you're below Man United in the league right now, you are in a shambles. So, I got no sympathy for him. No one has sympathy for us.
Steve, any sympathy for Ange Postecoglou?
Not really. No, I ain't got sympathy for any team. I don't really care what any other team's doing if they, worry about themselves. But look, I think what we got to understand. One thing we got to understand. Look, this is Spurs we're talking about here. Do you know what I mean? We're talking to Spurs as if they are a club that's going to win things, or they're going to do things, and they're going to buy big players, and there's players lining up, and please take me. Do you know what I mean? And come to Spurs. Do you know what I mean? It's not. And the only thing I'll tell you, who I do feel sorry. Feel sorry for. I feel sorry for the youngsters. I feel sorry for the Archie Grays.
Yeah, he's playing well as well.
I feel sorry. They are playing well. I feel sorry for the Mickey Moores. I feel sorry for the Wilson. I feel sorry for these guys because they're actually the guys that, from talking to Tottenham fans, that these have actually been playing better than the players, the experienced ones.
Mm-hmm.
So really, it's the experienced players that are letting those players down. Do you know what I mean? If they was to be at a certain level, then maybe these guys that have brought in would be standing out more. And he's the other guy, isn't he? The Norwegian guy, Bergvall as well.
Swedish,
very. I'll tell you what, all these players. I know that there are a lot of money now, but what I will say, from what I've seen of them, these do look like they're players. They are good players.
They've got a good sell on. If that was Levy's doing, where he wants to bring in players and he actually wants to sell them on at the right time and make a profit on them, if that's what he wants Tottenham to be, that's not a bad thing because those teams can do well. But I don't think that's what he wants them to be.
Only Bergville. It's 42 mil for Archie Gray and 30-something mil for Odegaard. They're good still. I'll give you they're decent enough players, mate. But if you know that your squad is like pretty thin, to be going to spend 70 mil on two youngsters, no, I'm sorry. I stick with that. You can't have a team. You can't have your backups being 17, 18, 19 year olds, no matter how good they are, man.
But they weren't even backups, were they? Like when you look at it, I suppose he was, but
they're not backups. You're not backups.
It's like kind of rotation.
Yeah, they're not backups. They're not brought in, but they've got 10 players injuries. They've got 10 players out, 10 experienced players out. Do you know what I mean? So these players would normally be like maybe not even on the bench, but similar to like when Rashford had to be brought in back in the day, or when we've seen players come onto the scene early, and all of a sudden we're like, wow, who's this? This is a little bit similar to what we're seeing at Spurs. This Mickey Moore's coming and these Archie Gray's coming. You're going, whoa. Normally we wouldn't have seen them. But when you've got 10 injuries and the rest of them have been like shit, do you know what I mean? They're getting their chance. And
that doesn't make sense. That's what I'm saying. They've got 10 injuries. So where are the 10 players behind them that are the second choice players? Their second choice players are the 18, 19-year-olds.
But the thing is, they're Spurs. They're not. Yeah,
when you said it earlier, I disagree with you, man. They're a Premier League team.
But they're Spurs. They're Spurs. They're not
usually in the top six. They're a big club. As much as I hate to say it, they have got pulling power around Europe. They can't go and get the best of the best, but they ain't. We're not talking about Fulham here.
They're buying badly. If you look at teams like Brighton, you look at teams like I don't want to say Villa because they actually got into the Champions League last year, so I have to think of someone else. But there's teams in and around the Premier League that are able to bring in players. West Ham are bringing in players. Okay, you can point to the players that aren't working, but you can point to the players that did work. Caduce. They've brought in other players. Alvarez. They've brought in players that do work. And I think that Tottenham are just buying badly. When you look at their team,
what pulling power have they got?
Yeah, but
who you say pulling power, right? What have they done in the past 10 years for players to go, oh, I want to go and play for Spurs? What?
They're in Europe.
What player? But they go to Brighton. They go to West Ham. West Ham won a European Cup. They go West Ham. They could go Brighton. They go Bournemouth are better than them.
And Spurs are a big team than all the teams you've named, man. Spurs are a bigger team.
Yeah.
Like this, I dislike Spurs entirely, but they're a bigger team than every team you've named, man. I know what you're trying to say, and I agree with you to a point, but they've got enough pulling power to be buying better than what they've bought. They've definitely they can go Portuguese league. Like they can go Sporting, Porto, take them players. Like maybe not get Corey's, but they can go and pick up players from Sport. They can go to the French league and pick up good players from there. They've got Matthias Tell. Matthias Tell is a hot prospect around Europe when they've brought him in. Like they can bring players in, man. And I just think that they've got. I'm not saying that the players aren't playing well. I just think they've bought poorly when he's like they've got 10 injuries. Fine, they've got 10 injuries, but then where are the players in between these youngsters? And the players that are injured.
Well, if all those, a lot of them, I think it was seven of those injuries are like first teamers, right? So those Mickey Moores and then Bergervelds, you probably wouldn't even be seeing them this season, but you have. But that doesn't make sense, Steve. You're saying, like, even if it's 7 first teamers, where are the players in between these first teamers and the Mickey Moores? Because there are none. Because so Mickey Moore would have been getting played. He would have been coming off the bench and stuff. Archie Gray would have been getting played. That's what I'm saying. They've got no. I'm just saying. Look, they're. I'm speaking to Spurs. They're their best players at the moment. So don't let's not say Mickey Moore's. They're very good players. Very good footballers.
Yeah,
very good footballers.
But Mikey Moore's like saying Arsenal.
They're not this level of youngster.
Yeah,
they're that. Yeah,
they are. Yeah. But that's like Arsenal saying they're missing Ethan Wanieri, and that would be a crazy statement. Why?
No one. I've not. Where's the conversation? We've not had a conversation about missing them. I'm just saying.
The Tottenham fans are saying we are missing Mikey Moore. I've done 2 videos taking the mickey out of them because they said we're missing Mikey Moore, and then they went, and then Bentancur and Bassoum has been poor, and that's where we come down to poor signings. Bassoum is a player, as you know, Steve, on Twitter especially, that the Twitter Arsenal fan base have been plotting over for the last few years, yeah. And then he had a season at Brighton where he went missing, and then Tottenham bought him. But could you imagine if Arsenal bought Basuma? On his day, he's a 6th.
But sometimes,
nice flick.
But poor signings sometimes are poor because you can't get no one else. I hear this so much. People say, "Oh, how comes they ain't bought? How comes they keep buying this rubbish?" Because your club can't attract. I can't believe how people can't work this out. It doesn't matter. I know people keep saying, "Well, we can attract because we're big." Nonsense, absolute nonsense, right? Because just look at the players that these apparent big clubs that can attract. Look who they've bought. Rubbish, and that's what some clubs do. It don't matter how big you are. It really don't. They've had to pay 70. They had to pay 75 mil for Solanke. No disrespect to Man United. They had to pay 72 for Højlund. Why? Do you think they pay 72 for Højlund if they could get an up and already proven Premier League strike? Of course they wouldn't.
Yeah, see again. I think you put too much into that, man. I really do.
Can you not agree? It's like I can't believe that people can't see it.
Man United can get any player they want, and Spurs, best of the best, can get any player they want, man. Apart from the best of the best.
Forest came 17th in the league last. Nottingham Forest came 17th. Nottingham Forest came 17th in the league last season. Nottingham Forest came 17th in the league last season. They're currently sitting 3rd. They were able to bring in players that have propelled them to 3rd in the league. Tottenham have bought poorly. Like if they're in a league campaign where they've not got Champions League football, so they have to be more resourceful with their signings. Why are they spending 45 million pounds on an 18-year-old right back? And I completely agree with that. That is a crazy signing.
Because they can't. Because that's all they can do.
19-year-old. Huh?
Because that's why I'm saying to you, they've got the choice. They look right, 48 million. Oh, who's around? Experienced, top player, 48 million. Let's go and get. Where is he? Right. Firstly, probably not around. Secondly, probably don't want to go to Spurs. Right. And then they look down and think, oh, this geezer's a guy for the future. This guy looks the best, one of the best coming around. So they gamble, and because they can't get the sort of like the well-known experienced one, they go for the talented up-and-coming one who they think's going to do. So they pay that little bit more money for them. Right? The pool of buying players, it ain't great, is it, around the world at the moment? Do you know what I mean? It's not, it's not. I heard someone today he's saying about Bournemouth. There's a link between Semyo and sorry if I've not pronounced it properly. And Semyo Bournemouth. It's not going Bournemouth. It's not going Bournemouth. Oh, sorry, it's not going Spurs. And that's
Oh,
that type
Antoine Samao.
Yeah, and he's the Bournemouth.
Didn't Spurs just take their best striker last season?
Yeah, do you see what they paid for him?
Any Bournemouth player. Sorry, Steve, I completely disagree. Spurs could take any Bournemouth player in a heartbeat. In a heartbeat, any Bournemouth player.
No, I'm on about that particular player. That particular player. But why would you? Why? Seriously, I mean, surely there's got to be some.
Because you're playing in front of 60,000 fans. It's a big club. I listen. We're going to always disagree on this. I think
if you're a top player, I had this last year. Garth, with players about we're going to get this player, we're going to get that player. They're not getting nobody because you've got to be playing good football. Players ain't stupid. They're not thick. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to sit there. If they're a star, up and coming star, and they're smashing it, right? They're not going to go to a club who's struggling just because the stadium looks nice.
Mate, I mean, it's not just the stadium. Really? I didn't say it looked nice. I didn't say the stadium looked nice, Steve. Let's not trivialise it. I said they've got 60,000 fans there. It's a big club. It's about it. Listen, I mean, I have to disagree with you, and the proof's in the pudding with Arsenal. How did you get the players that you got? How did you get two players from Manchester City who were winning leagues when you were coming 8th and 8th? How did you do it?
Well,
how did you get Jesus? How did you get Jesus and Zinchenko from Man City?
Well, because of Arteta. That's why we got out then.
So then why isn't Ange like that? Like let
him go and get someone from Celtic in Australia.
What you're saying? Why did they go Spurs? Look, when they're playing rubbish football. So are Arsenal. So unless you're saying it's all on Arteta, someone else can still sell a project like that. That's what I'm saying to you. Like these players, Spurs could take any player from Bournemouth in a heartbeat.
I've said one player, Garth. I've said this one guy. Right, it was I just used him as an example. I never said the whole. I don't know. I never mentioned one word about the whole Bournemouth team. Not one word did I say.
No, but you're saying about the whole Bournemouth team. You're saying they couldn't get Semenyo, and what I'm saying is they could take anyone. Right, they could take anyone.
You think with all the teams? I know the teams that are interested in Semenyo, right? And he ain't going Spurs.
Yeah. Well, for instance, prime example: Nottingham Forest signed Milenkovic, David Carmo, Morato, all for less than the price of Archie Gray. That's 3 centre-backs. Nottingham Forest signed for less than Archie Gray. In fact, for the same price as William Orbit. Like, this is what I mean. It's poor signings. They didn't have to go out and buy the youngsters. They could have taken that same risk on buying players who are a little bit older and are playing in different.
But I think I'll tell you why I think it's a little bit unfair. Right, because you're talking about a lot of midfield players there. They was never at the beginning of the season getting in front of Bentancur. They was never getting in front of Maddison. They was never getting in front of Basuma. They was never getting in front of Sarr. Right, none of these young kiddies they bought were getting in front of them. Right, and then there's probably other players that I haven't even mentioned in Tottenham's midfield as well. That's not come to my head. Kudelski sometimes in midfield. They're not getting in there. Right, so I'm assuming that Ange at the beginning of the season, they're Spurs, remember? He's weighed it up. He's looked at that team and think, look, do you know what I mean? We're not going to be shopping in the big boy thing. Those players on that pitch should be giving me a hell of a lot more, where these other guys don't have to be playing. But we're talking about these youngsters, kids, because we're seeing them play and they're playing, and it shouldn't be like that. I agree. They should. I feel that they've come in. I've listened to one particular Spurs cut, and they say that they should be playing every week because the others are rubbish, and that's not fair on them, is it? It's not fair.
No, that's not fair. That's not fair. Look, and look, this is a prime example of why I said about the youngsters and why. I'm going to say Alan Hansen thing here. You can't build your team on just the youngsters because it's such a risk mentally, development, the pressures, all that on the youngsters. That pressure needs to be taken away at some point, no matter how good they are, no matter how well they're playing.
Because them Tottenham ones have stepped up, kids. The Tottenham youngsters, they have stepped up. And look, the Son's a joke.
Because you're getting that honesty from those youngsters who want to prove themselves, who want to be in the team. But and this is where it boils down to. Basuma, Steve.
Yeah.
You could have told anyone that Basuma is not a top 4 signing. He's
we had
a highlight signing. Arsenal
this-
fans on Twitter were raging over him for years. Oh, look at Basuma, look at the touch. Oh, Basuma owned it today. No, he didn't. He decided to turn up once in a blue moon, and that is the kind of player.
We had the
Ben
conversations, didn't we? Me and you spoke about Basuma all the time. We couldn't believe that Arsenal fans wanted him. But then again, Arsenal fans, they wanted Maddison over Odegaard, and we can go on.
And it happens all the time. And they're the sort of signings which all these clubs, they stay away from these players, and there's good reason why. There's a good reason why no one's touched these players. Bentancur's a reason why he was at Juventus and they got rid of him. Like, the reason why. And this is what I'm saying. You had your opportunities to get rid of the players like Ben Davies. You had your opportunities to bring in better than Dragerson. Like, I could have told you that Dragerson ain't going to do it in the Premier League. Just play champions. I tell you that Dragerson, he's got a top knot.
He's got a good name, though. You know what I mean? It's almost
and he looks good on international duty when he's brought on by Romania for 10 minutes and he's just throwing his body in front of everything. But that should tell you all you need to know.
Do you know another one?
About the type of defender you're buying when the first port of call is throw your body on the line. Like, it ain't conference on League One.
I tell you who's looked good. I tell you who's looked good as well. I mean, I've only listened to but someone who stepped up is Spence.
Just fantastic.
He looks really tight. I know. I just thought he was crap because, and I know he was because you said he was. But since Spurs, they've been playing him, and he looks decent. He looks decent.
No, he does, but he looks decent in a very poor team. And you bring in your better players back in. You bring in Porro, you bring in Udogie. You've got your starting lineup of Van der Ven and Romero, and Spence sits there as a third choice option backup is what you need. He's not a first choice, but he's doing well, and fair play to him. He is doing well to in that spot that he is there. But yeah, look, for me, Tottenham made the wrong signings. I think there's a lot of teams across the Premier League that show examples of players that they could have brought in that have done much better at those clubs, that have got Premier League experience as well. Or players that are established internationals from abroad, and they cost a fraction of the price.
We're saying they're doing well, but they're not. Like, the kids may be doing to a level, but they're below Man United in the league, which means they're below 14th. They're out of all the cups apart from the Europa League. They're actually performing very poorly. The entire team is. Like, I'm sure these kids are to a level, but there is no but. The league doesn't lie. Man United are performing poorly. That's
no. The but is when you talk to Tottenham fans, like the intelligent ones, not the idiots, like expressions and all this, whatever they are. I don't know what they are.
No, I like expressions. I think it's hilarious. But...
whatever you like. But you talk to the ones, and they'll say that, it's not. I've already said it at the beginning. It's not the kids. It's not the kids. The kids. We're playing shit. They'll say Spurs are shit, Ange's shit. Levy's a joke. Right, I've been like it for 10 years. But DJ and Spence, the Bergvelds, the Mickey Moores, the Archie Grays, they have stepped up. And even though when we're playing poorly as a team, if you want to pick out 4 or 5 players, they're always the ones you're picking out as the ones that have been the best players. And the ones you're looking at, I think that's the disasters, Benticords and the Sons and all these ones are an absolute disgrace. And they just want them out of the club. These Archie Grays and all that, they're like, and
they're doing well. But the mistake Tottenham fans will need to not make is to think that next season the team's got to start with Archie Gray and Bergveld because they were so great and they showed us that build a team around it.
But they're showing. I think the old point is they're showing
quality.
They're showing quality.
I think we can all agree that the biggest problem Spurs have had, and you already almost hit on it, Steve, there is Daniel Levy. He's a great businessman. He's done a fantastic job for them building the stadium, getting them to financial security. But as an actual football chairman, I think he's pretty poor.
See, with the balls, like it's. I mean, he doesn't care, but
he's a businessman. He's a straight businessman.
He is a businessman, but this is.
Oh, it's 9 o'clock, people.
It's 9 o'clock, people. Before we wrap up, I did want to come. We've got like 5 minutes to go. we're going to discuss quickly Cole Palmer, and this is not no hate on Cole Palmer, but Cole Palmer, there's a lot of talk about world class Cole Palmer.
He's not world class.
Yeah, I mean, where'd that come from?
It's not.
A lot of talk about world class Cole Palmer. I think this is a prime example of why we need to, in this country especially, when we get excited about a youngster, just to put the brakes on the hype. All right, and I say that because Arsenal have got Ethan Nwaneri and Miles Lewis-Skelly, and in a couple of years' time, Max Downham as well, who is an absolute.
They'd all be world class, man.
If he continues his rise, yeah.
I'm only playing.
But the calls for Cole Palmer and the Ballon d'Or nominations last year. And they seem to continue. I'm still fighting with people in the comment section, scoffing at the thought of people saying that Saka is better than a Cole Palmer. But look, you have
whenever a young, do you know what? Whenever a player starts to play well, they compare him with Saka.
I know.
So it don't matter what it is. Probably at the end of the season, Archie Gray, Saka.
Yeah.
Whoever it's Foden, he's doing well. Let's compare him with Saka. Palmer's doing well. Let's compare him with Saka. Oh, it's just
and he's bashed them all away. But look, we love Cole Palmer. We want players like this. He's like a Gaza sort of player, that maverick can create something out of nothing. Just an excellent player to watch, but he's got to make sure that he's keeping focus on his actual development and not getting sucked into the hype and trying to put goals and assists on his tally. A very, very good player, but just calm down with the hype a little. Garth, Cole Palmer, the world-class hype?
Nah. It's not world class. He's a great player, solid player. Give it some time. Let's see where he goes. And listen, I've only just literally in the last 6 months been willing to say that Saka's world class, and that's because I've seen consistent performances.
Same, mate. We're the same.
I know you two are the same, 100%. And to be fair, apart from a few of the typical Arsenal fans, most Arsenal fans have actually been quite patient with Saka. I've found personally, and you've allowed him to become the player that he is. And yeah, he's world class now because of the consistency. Listen. He's got great stats, Cole Palmer, but I mean, I need to see him do it consistently against big teams. A third of his goals are penalties, and I don't want to take anything away from him, but people do need to remember that. A literal third of his goals are from the penalty spot. Still got to bury it, but still. So yeah, listen, a couple more years, come back to me, and I'll let you know if he's world class.
I think what he is, Garth. I think he's
in the Champions League for Chelsea. Yeah. So sorry, Steve, go on.
No, I was just going to say to you, Garth. It was like I think what he is. Don't you agree? He's the best player in which is still for me a poor Chelsea team. But he's still the guy. He's the star.
He is the guy.
Yeah. And it's not and
he's
it's
the main
like
man, definitely.
When you look at who scores the goals and who scores the assists, it's just Palmer. It's just him. There's no one else real. Jackson, I suppose, a little bit. Do you know what I mean? But mainly it's Palmer. So his stats are going to be higher. It's like any player who's like a star in their team. They always get.
Yeah, everything goes through him, doesn't it?
Everything goes through him. So yeah, that's just that makes him look a bit.
I don't want anyone to think that any of us are saying he's not a good player.
Oh no, I like him. I do like him.
We all like him. We want him to do well for England. I was about to say to Chelsea there. We want him to do well for England, not so well for Chelsea. He's a good player, but world class moniker, absolutely not yet. Like I say to everyone, I need to see consistent performances in the biggest matches for at least 3 years
level as well.
At the highest level for 3 years in a row. 3 years in a row.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah. I mean, Saka, people have been like touting his name in the world class thing for about 3 years, haven't they? And now we're just finally sort of coming to like.
You want to see a bit of that. You want to see him you want to see him own a game, not quiet and then gets a goal and assist and then it looks great. You want him to, from the start, he's terrorising players. And this season, you've seen him.
So he's doing it for England now.
He's much more mature in his performances. And then that will come from Cole Palmer in games where he will take away, put that selfishness behind him and forget he doesn't need to get a goal and assist because sometimes it's about that middle little bit of play, that linking bit of play.
Do you think he needs to leave
More
Chelsea?
important.
Do you think he'll need to leave Chelsea?
No, I think he's like.
What I find a bit weird is that there's even rumours that he could be leaving Chelsea at the moment. I think
No, not now, but in the future. Do you think for him to go up? Do you think for him to go up to like the levels that we're talking about, he needs to leave Chelsea?
I think it's a great place for him. I think Chelsea, they were an ambitious club at the end of the day. They're not doing well at the moment. They're not doing bad at the moment, but they're an ambitious club. They're in Europe. They want to, their fans expect to win trophies. So they should be pushing. So I think he's a great club at the moment. They love him. Everything goes for him. It couldn't be in a better spot, to be fair, if I'm honest. I just think. Yeah, it's just like it was Maresca, the hype, just about Chelsea's position in the league earlier on in the season, the hype. It just sometimes, how do they get on in the bad times? How do they get on when there's a bad wrong? That's when you really see what the minerals of these youngsters.
Yeah. He goes missing in the big games, doesn't he? He's always goes missing in the big games.
Like
Palmer always goes missing in the big games.
So yeah, I haven't seen. He against Man United last year. Like, he got a hat-trick against Man United last year, but this season apparently he ain't done well. So
I was stunned in the Arsenal game how missing he was. I didn't even remember anyone hear his name at all, which is crazy. And in the game where they drew with us, well, I just didn't see him in much of the game. So yeah, look, it's not a bashing. It's just the truth. Look, if you want to look at it and tell me that Cole Palmer has turned up in the big matches against the top 6 teams, then you're lying. He's not played in Europe at all because he's not going in the arse end of Uzbekistan to play a game.
He's not in the squad. He's literally not in the squad. Yeah, so, he's literally not even in the Conference League squad. He's played Europe for 2 years.
I think he is now, though, isn't he? Have they redone it?
I thought so. I presume they're going to put him in for the latter stage. And he got before any Chelsea fan jumps in. Yes, he played 4 times for Man City in the Champions League as well. But they were literally like a youth team appearance. You know what I mean? I think
it's totaling 45 minutes exactly. It totals for 45 minutes. Like,
listen, I'm not saying he can't get to world class either. I don't want people thinking I'm saying that. I'm just saying right now, at this moment in time, he's a very good player. But I think that's what you start with, Kid. Let's hold the hype down a little bit. Let's see how he does. Give it a couple of years, and you can come back to me. And then I'll be more than willing to, and I will be happy to slap the world class moniker on him if he's bagged 20 goals a season for the next 2 years. You know what I mean? Taking the Chelsea to back into a proper top 4 all the time, back into the Champions League all the time. He doesn't even have to win things. You know what I mean? It just has to be consistent performances. Consistent performances.
Yeah, it's got to be consistent.
Performance to get Chelsea into the Champions League, and they get into the Champions League, and you see him start to have those performances in the Champions League. That's when you're like, this is it. That is ticking all the boxes. This is the season where you got to be classing him as world class, and he's just ripping it up. And that's what I've waited for Saka to do. That's what many Arsenal fans have waited for Saka to do. And and we're only just about saying it this season. So yeah. All right, that is all we have time for. Thank you for everyone who's joined us. Quite a few people in there. If you are watching on Twitter, press that like, press that retweet. We really appreciate it. If you're watching on YouTube, press that like and subscribe if you are new to the show. And if you are a regular, press that like and that share button. As Garth always likes to announce, I am on TikTok as well. You can catch me on Kieran AFC, or you can catch me on the Transfer Exchange show as well. Daily videos go out where I just generally rant.
And you can catch me outside. That's where you can catch me. Catch me outside.
Right. Make sure you follow Steve on Twitter for any transfer news. And drop a ping. Jump into the comments of his articles. Get some engagement. Ask him some questions. He always takes time out to drop you an answer.
Why Spurs are a big club. He'll love those conversations. Get involved with him.
It felt like he was selling it at one point. Levy will be impressed. Thank you for everyone who's joined us tonight. Peace out, people. Stay safe and wash your hands.